Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining me this afternoon to learn a little bit more about Trump accounts. That's the goal here is to keep this short and sweet and hopefully have you walk away with an idea of what these accounts are about. We're going to get right into it. First, we're going to start with the main purpose about from the Trump account. But first, what is a Trump account? It is not something that the Trump businesses or the Trump organization offers. This is part of the One Big Beautiful Bill, sanctioned and organized by the federal government. The seed money that we'll talk about in a little bit is from the federal government and from the Michael and Susan Dell Foundation. They donated a bunch of money to help fund these for certain children. And so this is nothing to do with Donald Trump except his name, Trump, is on it. He's the one that signed the bill. He's the one that pushed this. And so that's why they're called Trump accounts. So why do they exist? Early wealth building opportunity. The earlier you start putting money into a brokerage account or some type of account that's invested into the stock market for your kids, the earlier, the better. The quicker it's going to grow, the faster it's going to grow, the more it's going to grow. We'll do some examples from a spreadsheet I have. And then also, it's an opportunity for families and children to learn about mutual funds and the stock market and compounding growth and things like that, stuff that we're sorely missing in this country as far as in investing education and a financial education goes. Now, the big pull for these things, the big hook is that there's two free money opportunities. There's $1,000 federal seed contribution and a $250 Michael and Susan Dell Foundation funded contribution. So starting with the $1,000 seed money, here's the eligibility requirements. You get the $1,000 seed deposit from the federal government if you have a child that was born in 2025 or 2026 through 2028, and they're a U.S. citizen and they have a valid social security number. And that's it. If your kid qualifies with these three very easy to understand requirements, go open the account and eventually you'll get $1,000 deposited into that. And then that $1,000 will sit there and grow until the kid turns 18. And then these accounts convert into a type of like traditional IRA, which we'll talk about a little bit later. So that's how you qualify for the $1,000. I don't have any kids that were born in 2025, but some of you do. You know people who do. So tell them about this account. At a minimum, go out, open the account, and get the $1,000 for your kid. The second seed money opportunity is a $250 contribution. And here's the requirements for kids that are age 10 or under who were born before 2025 in qualifying zip codes where the median income is below $150,000. And this is the first 25 million kids are eligible for this. So the US government doesn't have, as far as I could find, a utility where you could punch in a zip code to see if you have less than 120, $150,000 of median income. But I Googled some of these zip codes here, Redlands and Yucaipa, and we are under 150,000. So if you have a 10-year-old in this area, then most are a 10 or younger kid, most likely they're going to qualify for the 250. You might as well go out and apply for the account and see if you get the 250. It's what we say is free money. Now, why should you do this? Why should you start investing for your kids? This is just an example I have here, but I'm going to switch over to my spreadsheet. The reason is you want to start building wealth for your kids as early as possible. One example I would say here in Southern California, we have high home prices. And sometimes I think, how in the world are my kids going to afford a house when they're 25 or 26 years old, right? In 10 years or 12 years. And this is one of the ways that you could help them do that when they become of age. So here's a little spreadsheet, and I'm happy to share this with anybody who would like it. Just send me an email and I can send it to you. But these are the factors here. You can change these around. And you say, look, I have a son who's 4 years old. Let's say that he qualifies for the $250 seed money. And I'm going to put $100 a month in this account until he turns 18. And I'm assuming there's a 9% return on investment on average per year. The S&P 500 on average annually over the past 20 years is 10 to 11%. Okay, that means when he is 18 years old, he's got $34,000. When he's 25 years old, it's at 64. And remember, this is the contributions I'm doing, $100 a month, stop when he's 18. So the growth from 34% to 34,000 to 64,000 is just based off of the S&P 500. Switch this around. Let's say you have a kid just born and they get the $1,000 seed money, you start putting $100 in there or $250. You can see how quickly these account values grow when you're starting young. Let's say you say, forget about it. I'm going to start when they are 15 years old and we get a zero balance. I'm just going to put 250 in. That's peanuts compared to what they would get if you started at five. Okay. So again, I can share this with anybody that would like it, but whether you do a Trump account or something else, like I think one of my points for my clients and for those listening that come across this video is do something. $75 a month into a brokerage account, into a Trump account, something to kind of give your kids a leg up when they turn 18 to 25. Even if they wanted to hold on to this money until they retire, right? Look what you did for them with just a, a little bit of a contribution per month until they turn 18. So time is the magic ingredient. Keep that in mind. So what is a Trump account? So it's a tax advantaged investment account. You put money in, it's going to grow tax free. That means, if it grows from $1,000 to $34,000, you don't pay a dime in taxes on that. When they turn 18, um, you set it up. You are the custodian. The parent is a custodian, and the child is the beneficiary. So you have control of it until they're 18. You're not allowed to take money out of it. Once they turn 18, it converts into a type of like traditional IRA where they can continue to contribute to it. They can pull money out of it. Um, and it is taxed when they turn 18. If they pull money out, it's taxed. But it's tax advantaged, meaning if they use it for certain things, they'll pay taxes, but they'll avoid penalties. It's not a checking account. It's not a regular savings account. It's not a 529 account. That's geared towards education. So how you apply for it is that you attach Form 4547 with your annual tax return, or you can go out to trumpaccounts.gov and apply there. And here's the website. It's actually pretty easy to navigate and use. So if you're on Trump accounts, trumpaccount.gov, you can get more information here. Feel free to check it out. But if you click Get Started, you're going to put information about the parent or the guardian, and then contact information and information about your child. And then you just come down here if you want to add another child, and then you submit and you wait. These are supposed to be set up on July 5th of 2026. I'd imagine around that time you would get an email or a letter in the mail or something showing you to, I'm assuming, download an app, and eventually the seed money, if you qualify for it, will be deposited there. And then it's going to be very easy to set it up for you to set up recurring contributions and things like that. So it's very simple. Okay. Uh, how to fund it. All right, we talked about the seed money, and now family can contribute to it. There are other ways, but I'm keeping this basic. Parents, grandparents, and other families can contribute to it, and you can do up to $5,000 per year per account. Okay, and that comes to $416 a month if you wanted to do the full 5,000. So if I come back here to my investment thing here, and let's say that you I set one up for my son who's 4 and he got the $250. And I wanted to put $416 a month in it to max out that $5,000 contribution. And we do the 9%. Look how much he's got by the time he turns 18. And my contributions into that was 70,000. So that's the max that you can do. See, if we get 10% growth, it goes up a little bit more. But again, I'm happy to share this spreadsheet with anybody so they can kind of mess around with ages and starting balances and monthly contributions and all that kind of stuff. All right. Yeah, annual limit. We still are getting some feedback from the IRS and Department of Treasury about contribution rules, but these are the basics. So should you fund it beyond seed money? My short answer is if it's a Trump account, great, do something. Trump accounts are easy to set up, easy to manage, as far as we can tell so far. There's also a 529 plan, which is geared more towards education. Let me back up a second here. Trump account. Again, you put money in, it grows tax-free until money is withdrawn, just like a traditional IRA. If that money is used for education, if that money is used for starting a business or buying a home, then it's not subject to any penalties on that early withdrawal like a traditional IRA would be if you pull money out before retirement age. Right? So that's the tax advantage Trump account. 529 plan is education based. You put money in, it grows free, tax free. If you pull the money out and use it for qualified education purposes, then it's not subject to any income taxes. And then there's a brokerage account, which is just like it's not associated with any type of tax advantaged investment account. It's just you go down to Charles Schwab or Fidelity, you open up a brokerage account in the name of your kid, and you put money into it. But that is going to, as it grows, you're going to pay taxes on any dividends or any buying and selling that you do. And then, of course, we've got the Roth IRA, which I won't get into much here. From my perspective, the most important thing is that you do something, right? Do something. Start putting money away into the stock market for your kids now and reap the benefits later. I wouldn't get too hung up on uh, which account, but if you want to talk to me and get my advice, feel free to contact me. Here we go. This is, I already kind of mentioned this. What can the account be used for? Education, first home, starting a business, or you save it until retirement. Going back to this example here, right? For my son, if I put $416 away for him until he turns 18 and he just lets it sit there until he's turned 65 years old, he's got 16 mil, 16 million in the bank for his retirement, probably more than he needs. Well, who knows with inflation and all that stuff, but that's a lot of money. Again, it is subject to tax. If you pull it out for education, not penalties, but taxes for all of these things. Now, there is a little bit of a more complex strategy that would take some planning, but going to my example, let's just take this down a little bit and say by the time he turns 18, I've got $37,000 into this account, which is now converted to a traditional IRA. Well, 18, 19, 20, they're not making much money. They're going to school, they're messing around with their friends, whatever they do. If you plan it right, you could pull, let's say, $13,000 a year out of their Trump account and convert it to a Roth IRA, and then reap the benefits of a Roth IRA throughout the years. So, I mean, that's something that any parent should be aware of. It's again, it's helping your kid out long term. We live in a state where taxes are high and cost of living is high, and buying a house is really hard to do for kids in their 20s. And so parents have a really good opportunity here to help their kids out during those years where they're looking to establish themselves. Key takeaways then, take the seed money at a minimum, right? But my advice is to start investing for your kids somewhere. Do something. Trump account, 529, brokerage, do something. And then for more long-term planning, talk to your tax advisor, talk to your financial advisor if you have one. But I'm happy to chat and just point you in the right direction if it means that you start putting money away and it helps your family in the future. So I will now take questions, and I do see a few questions that came up. Somebody asked if I could send the spreadsheet. Absolutely. Another question is, did you already say how much a kid that opens an account, Trump account today, if we contribute, if we contribute zero with just the seed money? Sure, we can come here and look and assume the kid's 0 years old, just born, and we get the $1,000 seed money, no contributions, and we'll just bump this down to 9%. If when they turn 18, that 1,000 has grown to 5,000. Again, is it ideal? No. Is it worth it? Absolutely. Again, I got to reiterate, if you put something away though, $75 a month, look how much it grows. So yeah, but just $1,000 at 9% would grow to 5,000. Is the Trump account compatible with other accounts like a 529? Or does having a Trump account limit eligibility for other accounts? It is compatible with 529 plans. The idea there is like, hey, what's the goal? If, again, primarily do something. Secondarily, if you're more of a long-term planner, it's like, hey, sit down with your advisor and tax advisor or financial advisor and say, hey, here's my goals. And somebody should be able to say, all right, if that's your goal, if that's the end game here, here's the vehicles I would suggest you use to get there. Thanks, John. You're welcome. Do we fund it pre-tax or post-tax dollars? These are not tax deductible contributions. So you, the parent, contributions are you're paying taxes on them. Um, when when you decide, okay, so you put money in, you don't get a tax deduction for it. It grows 18. Let's say your kid pulls all the money out to buy a house. Well, he's got basis in the retirement account, in the Trump account. And so whatever contributions were made for the kid throughout the years, I'm assuming that those are going to be tax-free distributions, but the growth when it's pulled out is going to be taxed. Again, coming here, let's say $50 a month. And so we've put in $11,800 until he turns 18. Let's say your kid turns 18 and pulls the full $32,000 out, 31,840. You wouldn't pay taxes on this amount. You would pay taxes on this minus that, so around 20 grand. If your kid takes out Trump account money for house, college, or business, is that money still taxed or not taxed for those three things? It is taxed. The basis is not taxed, and it's not subject to a penalty. And that's all the questions. Again, if you have any follow-up questions, email me. If you want the spreadsheet, I'm happy to share it with you. Appreciate you guys joining me today. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.